What's up, vapors? Thanks for checking out Daily Vape TV. My name is Nick, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Innokin Coolfire Ultra. So it hasn't been that long since we've seen a new mod come out from our friends over at Innokin, and this is kind of the status quo of what they're going for nowadays. This is the Coolfire Ultra. We've seen all the different versions of the Coolfire all the way down the line, and yeah, it's very, very similar to something that we recently took a look at, which is the MVP4. So really no surprises. Nothing really surprised me or blew me away about this particular device. However, the performance is very, very good. So before I get into this video, I do have to state my intent by saying that I did receive this product for free from the manufacturer for the purpose of doing this video review. However, it has no monetary value to me, which means my opinions on it will remain honest and unbiased, of course, as always. With that being said, I would like to give a huge shout out and thank you to the people over at Innokin for sending this my way. I've really been loving taking a look at all of their latest products, and I hope to continue to do so for a very long time. Alright guys, so before we go down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing, let's quickly go over some of the basics. First, the color options that you have. As far as I could tell from looking around a little bit on the internet trying to find the best deals, I've only found it in two different colors. You get an option of black or white and black. So unfortunately, you don't get the rainbow of colors like the Coolfire 4 came out in, and I really hope they plan on coming out with some funkier colors along the line here somewhere, because I really like those kind of options. I just feel like it gives it a little bit more personal touch, but I guess we'll go over that later. But anyways, as far as the price point, with the full kit, including the Scion tank, you're looking at about $62.95. That is a very good deal that I found online. Of course, links will be provided for you down there in the box below if you wanted to pick one of these things up for yourself. Also, if you just wanted to get the Coolfire Ultra without the Scion tank, you can do so for $49.99. Again, links are down there. Make sure you check them out if you guys want to pick one of these up. So, without further ado, let's go down to the close-up view and take a better look at this thing. Ta-da! Alright guys, so as you can see here, we have our Coolfire Ultra in its original box. So let's quickly take a look around the packaging, then we'll take a look at what's inside. So, first and foremost, we have the picture of the mod, which has a slight, raisedness to it. It's a little bit bumpy off the actual box, which kind of feels weird, but hey, it's different. On the edge here it says, Real Power, Extreme Accuracy. I have a feeling they really are trying to push their chipset that they're using in this thing here. So this side we have all the warnings and all the other legal stuff that they have to print on here, and oh my god, it's like a whole book. And on this side here we have their social media info, of course, all over that side, and the authentication little scratch and check thing right there. And on the back, we have a whole list of features. It's probably going to be pretty difficult for you guys to see. There we go. You can kind of see that a little bit, hopefully. But anyways, yeah, some features all on the back there. Very easy, to look at and read and all that good stuff. Let's take a look at the actual device, shall we? So just slide that right out like that. And we have a nice little silver emboss on this thing, which kind of looks pretty cool. Taking the cover off. We have the Ultra itself right there, sitting there resplendent in all its glory. We'll look at that in just a second here. Let's first go over all the other stuff in the box. Let's see. User manual. Wordy. Yeah, pretty wordy. Pretty long, pretty wordy. The only actual graphics are the same old thing we've seen in pretty much every other Innokin manual. I just wish they would do a little bit more kind of graphics and a little less wordiness to these, because I feel like people would actually want to read them. Stickers. Well done, Innokin. Coil art people, take note. This is how you do it, because then people will put stickers on their mods or their cars or whatever. Stickers, always a good thing to put in the box. Moving on, we have the Scion tank in the bottom of the box here. So we'll take a look at that real quick. And I believe it comes with the actual triple coil pre-installed. So this is the 0.5 ohm. These are all Kanthal coils. So 0.5 ohm triple coil in there, which is pretty cool. We'll take a better look at that in a little bit here, but let's just close that back up for now. Put that to one side. We have an extra glass and an extra coil. Oh, you get a bubble glass. That's kind of cool. I didn't even bother to look at it because I thought it was just a replacement glass, when in fact it is a bubble glass, so it increases the tank capacity a little bit. That's kind of neat. Pretty cool looking there. And you get a single core coil as well. This one is the 0.28 ohm, good up to 100 to 200 watts, I believe. Yeah, 100 to 200 watts on this particular coil, which is pretty darn cool there. And you get a tank band, little Innokin tank band. There you go. And some extra O-rings. No big surprise there. Feel like everything comes with extra O-rings nowadays, which is good. We have a micro USB cable, pretty standard in a lot of mods nowadays. And I have probably 24 of them. And you get a little silicone skin. So if you wanted to put that on your mod, you can do that. If not, you can't say they didn't put one in the box. So here is the Ultra itself. So let's quickly just take a look at some of the features about this device. First of all, it goes from 6 to 150 watts of power with the Scion chipset. It features temperature control, which can do nickel, stainless, titanium, and it has dry hit protection. Built-in 4,000 milliamp hour battery, spring-loaded gold-plated brass 510 connection, 3-button adjustment, very easy to use there. Wide area firing button, this thing right here. Tri-LED battery life feedback indicator. OLED display, which shows output wattage, output temperature, atomizer resistance, and battery life indicator. 2 amp micro USB charging, which is pretty cool. So this thing charges up super fast. And it can go through pass-through as well, so you can actually vape while charging it as well. So that is pretty darn cool. So let's quickly take a look at some of the menu settings. So currently my device is off, as you can see here. So to turn it on, all we have to do is click it 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. You get the Innokin splash screen, and then it's on. So right there, you get about 3/4 to a full second before you can vape, and it's not too bad if you ask me. So as you can see here, it's in temperature control, and we are controlling titanium. So if you want to change that, you can actually hold down the fire button and the plus button at the same time, and then that'll cycle through the different modes. So it's got a few different temp control modes, and then you make your way all the way back to wattage mode. If you want to turn your wattage up and down, all you have to do is just hold down the up or down button. When it starts flashing, then you can freely adjust up and down, and it goes pretty quick. It actually goes in half-watt increments, as you can see here. So I'm actually going up by half-watt increments instead of 0.1 increments, which I think is actually better, if you ask me. But hey, so also if you hold down both of these buttons, the plus and the minus, you have your puff counter, your super accurate resistance checker, and that also switches the screen from left to right. So if you happen to be a lefty, then you hold your mod a certain way, then there's that in there as well. So let's just quickly put the Scion tank on here real quick, just to show you guys exactly what it looks like when that happens. And when you put a new device on there, it'll start blinking same NITISS or W, which is wattage. So in this case, we need it in wattage mode. So all we're going to do is go over to that by using the minus button. It goes all the way back to wattage mode, and then click the fire button. So just like that, it'll blink same, hit the down button, and you can obviously cycle through which mode you wanted to use like that with the plus and minus buttons. But in this case, we want wattage, so just click it like that, and we're in wattage mode. So that happens every time you take an atomizer on and off this device, which I really like. So there we go. That about does it for the close-ups for the Coolfire Ultra. Let's go back to the main screen, have a quick vape on this thing, and we'll talk about it some more. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the close-up section of the video. Now let's talk about my personal thoughts about this device, some pros, some cons, and whether or not it's worth purchasing. Starting off today with the pros, and my first pro is the battery life is excellent. Now, this thing has the same exact battery as the MVP4, the 4,000 milliamp hour built-in battery, and it's really no surprise to me that the battery can last a very long time. Now, it's almost kind of to the surprising point, in my opinion, because I have a lot of other devices that are dual battery, dual 18650 that have, 3,000 milliamp hour batteries in them, and 9 times out of 10, this device will outlast them, and it only has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. So really not sure how exactly that works, but you know, even on the same power levels, this thing will last a very long time. In fact, one of the latest conventions that I went to, I packed both of these batteries and they lasted me the entire time there. I didn't have to charge them once and I was there for the whole weekend. So yeah, that is definitely a huge pro in my book. My second pro today is that it's fairly comfortable to use and it's kind of grippy. Now, it doesn't have a rubberized coating, although it kind of looks like it would be rubberized. It doesn't actually have any sort of coating on there. It's just kind of a matte finish. Now, if you compare that with the kind of brushed aluminum kind of feel to the MVP4, it feels a lot more grippy, like it's going to stay in my hand a little bit better. Not sure exactly why that is, but regardless, it is more comfortable in my personal opinion. I really like the rounded outer edge here. It feels very comfortable to hold and vape on all day long. Definitely, you don't get sick of just holding this thing in your hand like you would normally. Kind of a more squared off mod, maybe, perhaps, something like that, but yeah, definitely a lot more comfortable for me personally. My third pro today is the instant fire up time. Really, there is very little delay between when you click the button and when this thing actually fires up at full power. Now, with a lot of other devices out there nowadays, you're going to have that kind of quarter to a half a second delay between when you actually click the button and when the device fires. So again, very similarly to the MVP4, you get that really quick response time, and that is definitely a pro for me. I'm going to try to go ahead and demonstrate this real quick. I'm going to hold it up right to the microphone. Hopefully you guys can hear it. So that right there is a huge thing for me. I really like a quick response time, and this definitely delivers on that. So my fourth and final pro is how easy this device is to use. Also, it has a very simple screen and button setup. A lot of times with all these modern mods nowadays, you get all that information on these ginormous screens, and it tends to be a bit confusing, especially for someone like me as a vape shop employee. I have to go and explain every little bit that's on the screen at one point in time. You know, you have your standard mode, your powerful mode, all that stuff. With this one here, it's very, very easy. It's very simple. You have your resistance, you have your working voltage, you have your wattage, you have your battery life, and your puff counter second timer thing that you got going on. Now, that's just in wattage mode. Obviously, there are other modes as far as temperature control and all that stuff goes, but if you're using the Scion tank like I am right now, it could not be easier than just setting it at wattage mode, cranking up the power, and you're good to go. You're off and vaping in a matter of minutes, and you don't have to explain through all these different menu items. Alright guys, so moving on to the cons, my first con is the exact same problem I had with the MVP4, which is between the time it takes to fire the device up and the splash screen to go away, it's a while before you can actually click the button and fire this device. 9 times out of 10, I'll have it in my pocket, I'll take it out, I'll click the button 3 times and I'll instantly go to hit it, and then I'll look at my device and it's still on the splash screen. So that is a bit annoying. However, one of the kind of factors that takes away from that a little bit is how fast this thing gets going once the device is turned on. However, I just feel like the splash screen does take a while to actually get this device ready to go, even though it has a sort of always on sort of feature where if you click the button when the device is off, it just says off, click 3x, which means you have to click it 3 times to turn it on. So with that, yeah, I really wish they kind of could have reduced that time between when you turn it on and when you can actually get your first hit. My second con today is a bit of a doozy for me, and it's the fact that this thing doesn't fit a lot of atomizers flush. Now, I would really like to be able to put a lot of other atomizers on here. However, whenever I screw something on, 9 times out of 10, it's going to have a little gap underneath it, or it's just not going to fit as far as the width is concerned. So luckily, they did kind of bulk it up a little bit. This is a 24 millimeter device here, so it fits 24 millimeter atomizers flush. However, they don't fit on the top flush, so you're still going to get that little tiny gap where they just could thread down just ever so slightly more. Unfortunately, that's not the case. My icon doesn't fit on there, which is kind of the one that I really wanted to put on here, so you're left with Innokin products, and that's pretty much it. So that's definitely something that takes a lot away from this particular product. However, I did speak with Dwayne from Innokin at National Vape Expo, and he said they're working on it, so the next kind of iteration of Innokin products should be a lot better as far as that aspect. So my third and final con is a bit of a subjective one, and it's the fact that it's really plain. This thing is definitely boring and plain and kind of meh kind of whatever, but that's not going to affect the performance of this device whatsoever. I just really wish they went with something like their Coolfire 4 series, which had all these different cool looking metallic colors where you could kind of customize it a little bit more, and that's kind of what vaping is all about. I mean, we are all different in a lot of different ways, obviously, and we want to show it off. You know, we want to show off our creative side. We want to show off the fact that we are individuals and none of us vape exactly the same. So that would be something to work on. I hope they come out with a few other colors in the near future. But as you can tell, again, I really failed to mention much about the Scion tank. And yeah, it's just kind of a tank. For me personally, it works just fine. I really like the 0.2 coils that they included, 0.28 coils, the Kanthal BVC ones, because they have a little bit more airflow and they tend to work a little bit better, especially with this device at the higher wattages. So I will do a standalone Scion tank review in the near future, but I really want to give it the attention that it deserves. So I kind of intentionally skipped over a lot of the details as far as the tank is concerned, but we will go over them soon in its own video. So the big question is, would I go out of my way to purchase one of these if I didn't get this one for review? And my answer would be probably yes. Now there's a few things that I could think of that would make me not want to upgrade, which is one, if I already owned an MVP4. So if you already have an MVP4, I don't think it's worth the upgrade price, because the only thing you get with the Coolfire Ultra is the fact that it goes up to 150 watts instead of 100, and it's a little bit more sleek and stylish and comfortable. So the MVP4 does exactly the same thing as far as, you know, battery life, same battery, same interface, and pretty much the same thing. And you also get the ability to charge your phone. So honestly, I don't think it's worth the upgrade if you're going from something like the MVP4 or any other like 100-watt device. But if you only have something that can go up to 75, 80 watts, and you want something a bit more powerful without spending an arm and a leg, then absolutely 100% it is worth it. Even if you get the kit with the Scion tank for 62 bucks or whatever, I think it's definitely worth it there, because the Scion tank does have a few really good features to it, which we'll of course go over in the full review. But until then, if you want to grab one of these things for yourself, make sure you click the links down there in the description. So anyways, guys, that about does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for more videos just like this. Don't forget you can click that notification bell right next to the subscribe button if you want to be alerted whenever I upload videos. Also, leave me some comments in the box below. I'd love to hear your thoughts all about the Coolfire Ultra. Don't forget to check out the advocacy and my social media links in the box below. You can also get t-shirts down there. I've got a link right there for you. So thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, vape on.